Learning Network. Yeah, bye. And you're watching CTV on the Higher Learning Network. Yeah, bye.
Hi, I'm Brandon.
Hi, I'm Akil.
And you're watching the Betty Shabazz podcast training on the Higher Learning Network. Yeah.
Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit zeldaspeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of Mindfulness on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. And thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness on the Female Solution and the Higher Learning Network TV show, which airs Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19. And we are broadcasting live from Houston, Texas. We are not in Chicago today. I am in the hottest city on the planet. I don't know what to tell you. Is that about right? Yeah, I think that's the right. Oh, about right. I am in, and right about now I'm freezing, so I'm not complaining because I think I'd rather be just a little bit chilly this morning than a whole lot of hot. And as you can see, I'm not at my usual, my usual background, but I want to show you. I got this in fascination with trees, right? So let me turn this around so you can see the trees. Can you see the trees? A tree right outside my girlfriend's window. Great big tree. We haven't got down there yet, but we're going to get down there today. And if you haven't, or if you don't know uh, about trees, then you have got to go to YouTube and type in Judy Dench, Dench. She is Australian or English actress, and she shared something. It was a documentary on trees, and she shared some things about trees that has just simply fascinated me. And that's why I always ask you to spend some time with trees, because there is energy in those trees, especially if you have questions to answers that you need, and you'll get them there, because this is part of your grounding activity. If you go and put your feet in the sand, or in the sand, or in the grass, or in the dirt. There's even one of our viewers, Mama AZ from Arizona, said she went and dug a hole. She said 42 hip operations, and nothing gives her relief but putting her body in the ground, because the minerals and in the dirt help the body. You're connecting with that which you came from, which is the universe, the earth. So I ask you to do that today, and I also ask for my prayer warriors who have been keeping up with the trials and tribulations that I've been having. And the reason why that I'm here in Texas is to help a childhood girlfriend get better. And I need you to keep doing what you're doing, because your prayers are working. So keep those prayers coming for my girlfriend, Cheryl, in Houston, Texas. And just know that the words that you share to the universe have wings. Words have wings. So just know that what you send up is what you get back. So thank you for your prayers. Really appreciate that. Because as soon as this show is over, I got to go fix her breakfast. So let us begin the process of Monday morning mindfulness. If I didn't say happy Earth Day, birthday, born day to you, if you're celebrating a birthday this month, and July 26th, I believe, is Saturday. Friday or Saturday. Anyway, that's my niece's birthday. Nita. Her name is Ornita. We call her Nita. What's the girl's last name? Bradley. I don't never call her. You don't call your kin folks by their last name, so you can't remember. Anyway, happy birthday, Nita. And she is also in need of prayer as well. She is in, I believe, Peoria, Illinois. So put Nita in your prayers too. Thank you, my prayer warriors. I appreciate you, because I couldn't do it without you. And if you are listening online, you will know, or if you've been online, you will know that unless you've been living under a rock, you will know this, that Biden has stepped aside and he is endorsing Kamala Harris. So that is the topic of the day, and we're going to take calls much sooner than we usually do. So if you would like to call in at 515-605-9325, you can press 1 to speak. And you can also call the On Air Everywhere switchboard, which is 727-731-5192. That's 727-731-5192. And do know that all the information that you get here that you may have not remember or get a chance to write it down, all the updates will always be on my blog, tumblr.com, Higher Learning TV Show, as well as my blog, zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. And don't worry, I'll pop that on the screen here later. Now, I usually do traffic and weather, but I'm not in Chicago. But I can tell you right now, from doing the weather for 20 years, you can pretty much figure out that it's crowded, whatever expressway you're on. Lakeshore Drive, DuSable Lakeshore Drive, the Kennedy, the Eisenhower, the Edens, doesn't matter where you're going. It's prepare yourself because there's going to be traffic. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, traffic and weather is sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. And if you don't know what ITEX is, ITEX is an organization in which businesses, owners, and entrepreneurs can join if you have products or services that you offer to the general public. And you only need a $100 coupon, if you mention my name as a promo code Zelda, you can always get that $100 to go shopping immediately. So if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, go to chicago.itex.com and remember to tell them that Zelda sent you so you can get that $100 and go shopping. You can thank me later. Okay, anything you need for home or business or car. We've taken trips to anywhere, to Vegas, to Tennessee. I haven't been to Hawaii yet. Jamaica, anywhere you can think in the world that you want to go. You can go through iTex because this is the kicker. They have hotels, and hotels cost an arm and a leg, $200 a night. That $79.99 a night is over with. Even that motel, hell, you need a hotel that's gonna pay, and you not be bugs crawling up your back and little creatures crawling across the floor. So keep that in mind. So just go to chicago.itex.com, and you can thank me later. If you are a diabetic or know someone who's a diabetic, this is your opportunity to get a free download at diabeticdonut.com. And if and when you go there, and if you have any difficulties, go to higherlearningnetwork.org and scroll down to the bottom, send me your information, and I will forward you the ebook that I wrote on how I reversed type 2 diabetes. It took a while. Took a year, as a matter of fact. The first 6 months, I was on metformin. And when I discovered what it does to your organs, like your body, your kidneys and your heart and all that stuff, and I was like, ooh, I don't want to be on this the rest of my life, because they give you enough just to keep you, you know what I'm saying. So I decided, my sister's not a nutritionist, but guess you could sort of kind of is. Anyway, she goes to a farm every year, and she met a young woman who was like, I don't know, 400-500 pounds or something. And she was a diabetic, and she shared the recipe with my sister, who shared the recipe with me. So that's how I got it. And so now I'm sharing it with you. And I know you know somebody, if it's not you or somebody in your family, who has diabetes, and they are taking metformin, because that's what they give all Black folks. I know they give us all metformin. So if you can stomach apple, these ingredients: apple, beet, cucumber, lemon, ginger, kale, and turmeric. I put them all in a blender and add a little water. And I'm telling you now, it does not taste good. You are not eating for taste. You're not drinking for taste, because taste is what got us in the shape that we're in now. So you put some water in that. It's all the instructions are in the book. It's you just cutting things up and in small things and put them in your blender. If you have one, you got to have a blender, a good blender, because turmeric and ginger and the beets will break your blades if you don't have a good. You can't use no 1999. But no, those blades are gonna break. You need a Ninja or something, because it needs to cost it. Unless you know something I don't, close to $100. Or if you can find one on sale for $50, like Amazon had. And I'm not crazy about Amazon, but they did have that July 17th sale or something like that. But anyway, you shop around. Get it and share that with your family too, because we all know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So remember to set those DVRs for Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19 for the Higher Learning Network TV show. And somebody asked me, why don't you DVR? That's because I never get around to looking at it. Anyway, it is time for your Monday morning mindfulness word of the day, which comes from fellow journalist Mike House. And Mike House is in the city of Chicago. And if you would ever like to be on his list, you simply text me at this number and I will forward them to you daily as he forwards them to me, or I will give him your number and you can get them direct. How about that? Either way, you can text message Monday Morning Mindfulness. Just put MMM to 312-383-9749. That's 312-383, 9749. Okay. Alrighty. But in the meantime, in between time, why does my screen keep disappearing? It's just always something. What can I tell you? Here we go. All right. The word from the day, Monday, July 22nd. I rejoice in the riches of this new day. Whatever you can imagine this new day to be, so shall it be. This is a new day filled with increase. We call forth increase in our health, increase in our finances, increase in our creativity, increase in our love life, increase in our understanding. God, we rejoice in this new day. We thank you for all the riches of this new day. May every household be blessed with increase. I accept the riches of this new day. I rejoice in the overflow of increase and supply here and now. I rejoice that my good is at hand and all is well. I rejoice in the abundance of God's idea that have come forth to me in this day. Now manifest in my lived experience. Thank you, understanding in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within. And so it is. This is the day which the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. And that is from Psalms 118:24. And that is your word from the day, for the day, from Mike House. And I hope you enjoyed that, like I'm enjoying my tea, but I don't have my regular cup, but it's tea. What am I drinking this morning? Rose tea. Remember I told you about all the fascinating teas that I learned about? Rose, R-O-S-E. I get it from Amazon. I'm just not crazy about it. Get it from Whole Foods. How about that? Okay. Drink it all now. Anywho, I just wanted to share that with you. And this is the time that we usually do our Monday morning mindfulness meditation. But it's going to be very brief this morning because I know you want to call in at 515-605-9325. Yes, the lines are open. So let's just do a little stretching this morning. Yeah, the hands are up. I'm coming to you, 773-221. I'll be right there with you as soon as we do our Monday morning mindfulness meditation. And I didn't bring my little gong this morning, so I'll be going. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so let's just start by. What we're going to do is simply breathe in, breathe out, and close your eyes. I want you to feel this experience because if you're watching me, you can't feel it. You're too busy. Your eyes are close your eyes. How about that? Okay. Shouldn't be looking at me. Close your eyes. Okay. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth to the count of 4. Okay. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And then exhale to the count of 4. See, that's all you're doing. It's just inhaling, exhaling. So just keep breathing, breathing in and breathing out, sending love-lighted energy throughout your whole body, your whole mind-body experience. Just breathe in and breathe out. So let's breathe in, breathe in. And as you breathe in, stretch those arms and move because you've been asleep all night. And the body organs, the inner organs have to wake up just like you do. So rotate those shoulders left and right and backwards and forwards and just move. Get everything moving. Now, this is something that I learned and I hope you will do it with me. Don't be looking at me. Do it with me. We're going to start tapping this morning. We're going to wake up the lymphatic system. You see that? Just tapping. Just waking it up. And, women, we have that little piece of fat right here under one. put a sleeveless blouse and you see a little chunk of meat. You skinny people don't have that to worry about, right? Okay, but we all have it here. And that is part of the lymphatic drainage system. So you want to pat that and give it some love too. Pat up here in your chest, everywhere. Because you want to wake the organs up. They've been asleep just like you have, right? Why are you looking at me and not patting? Okay, that's right. There you go. Get the pad, baby. Zelda, you can see me. I don't have to see you. I can feel you. Okay? It's called energy. Remember I told you about the trees? Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, let's just pat. Just pat, 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 pat. Your side, your hips, your thighs, your knees. Oh yeah, rub them knees. You know I'm always talking about knee pain. But you'll hear me complaining no more. It's because I got them gummies and tinctures and the bone cream, and it all works. But baby, these knees feel real good. And you gotta walk every day. That's all part of the plan. If you don't do nothing but walk out the door and walk, you gotta walk somewhere. It's so hot down here. I usually do 30 minutes in the morning after the show. And yesterday I went grocery shopping for my girlfriend, and baby, I had to go to 3 stores. It's hell in Texas. I don't know how people live here. I just have to stay in all day. Anywho, I digress. But rub those knees, those legs, those ankles, and we'll get back to that. But are you breathing in and breathing out? Let's continue. Breathe in. Hold it. And exhale. Once more, breathe in. Hold it. And exhale. If you are breathing deep enough, I need your chest to expand. If you're breathing deep enough, you'll feel it. If you're not, you won't feel nothing. This is your experience. You just can't look at me. You must participate with me. So let us inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. So now let's take it from the top of the head to the tip of the feet. Inhale deeply. Begin the process of loving on yourself in the morning by rubbing your head, child. Yes, there's power right here. Rub it. Part of the tapping process. Yeah, we'll do a little tapping this morning. Got some issues going on. Although I may have issues, I love myself unconditionally. And I take my glasses off and tap on the side. Although I may have issues with someone else, I still love and approve of myself right here under the nose. Oh, yeah. You're sending love, light, and energy everywhere. And although I may have issues and I may have whatever's going on in your life, I love and approve of myself. Enough garbage out there that folks keep hating on me. I love and approve of myself. And don't believe nothing I say. Go to YouTube, look up EFT. Tapping. You can do it on your own. Inhale deeply. That's just a brief introduction. You can do it on your own, in your own time, and you can spend some real time doing it. And exhale. Inhale deeply. Bringing the power of the breath down through the forehead, landing on the shoulders, rotating those shoulders backwards and forwards, sending more love, light, and energy down through the chest area. As we begin the higher learning hip roll, moving from side to side. Why are you doing that, Zelda? Because we sit too much. We sit in chairs and beds and places all day, and we get a little older. We don't move as much as we used to, right? So we move right here in a chair, doing the higher learning hip roll. So we breathe in, hold it, sending more love, light, and energy down through the thighs and the knees and those glorious knees. Yes, and they just keep on working because I just keep on walking and I just keep on taking my pain balm cream and my tinctures and my gummies, and I feel just fine. Thank you, Lawrence Lenore. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much. As we inhale of Genesis 1, don't let me forget that. As we exhale, sending more love, light, and energy down through the thighs, through the knees, through the legs and the ankles, and the feet, and the arches, the insteps, the toes, as we wiggle those toes, as we breathe in. Bringing that energy from the toes back up through the feet, the heels, the ankles, the legs. I want you to feel what's going on in your body. The knees and the thighs and the hips. Let's continue to breathe in and breathe out. Bringing the energy of the breath back up through the solar plexus and the arms as we move and give thanks for mobility because somebody somewhere can't move like you move. So give thanks for mobility as we breathe in, bringing the energy of the breath back up through the face to the top of the head. And we give thanks as we clear out all of the garbage that's going on, all the negativity that's going on. We release it and send it back to its native nothingness from whence it came. And so it is. As we breathe in. And as we breathe out, bring your head down, face forward. Slowly rotate that head to the left and around to the back. Slow down. You're moving too fast. And around to the right. And bring it back. Head up. Inhale deeply. Bring the head back down, chin to chest. Slowly rotate the head to the right. And around to the back. Slow down. You're moving too fast. And around to the left and back to the front. Head up. Inhale deeply. And look to the left as far as you possibly can, feeling a stretch in the right side of the neck. And bring the head back forward. Inhale deeply. And look to the right as far as you possibly can, feeling a stretch in the left side of the neck. And exhale. Inhale deeply. And let's try an affirmation. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. Say what? I can hear you. Say it again. Huh? Okay, let's try it again. I am. Two of the most powerful words on the planet. I am that I am. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. It doesn't matter what they say I am or I have. I know that there is a divine creator who made me, who has my best interest at heart. And it is my responsibility to use what I have to get what I want. And that is the way that we do that with the power of affirmations. As we breathe in and as we breathe out. So, how do you feel? Feel good this morning? I certainly hope so, because your show look good. Well, you know I look good, Zelda, because I know you. You're the kind of person that cares about not only you, but the community in which you live. That's why you're on this show this morning. So I want to send you a shout out this morning. And I also want to send Andrea a shout out, who is also here with us this morning. Andrea, what's your last name? She don't want anybody to know. Harris? Peters. She is the young lady who was here when I got here. This is Cheryl's friend, my girlfriend Cheryl. And she's from Chicago too. And Cheryl has to have breakfast every morning at 7:00. And here I am on the show at 7:00. This is the only day. But I will be with her the rest of the week. And I will make her breakfast. So I apologize, Cheryl, for not. But as soon as this show is over, I got to go, y'all, because I got to go take care of Cheryl. Okay? So just be glad that you have someone in your life that loves you and appreciates you and take care of you and be there for you. So shout out to Andrea. Y'all give Andrea. Thank you, Andrea. We appreciate you. Andrea Peters, what we'll do without you. Thank you. Because I took Cheryl her smoothie this morning, but she needs some food too. And I love the fact that she has a good appetite. So thank you. Thank you, Andrea. We appreciate you. In case nobody's told you lately, we appreciate you. It's nice to be appreciated, isn't it? And I appreciate you this morning. Appreciate you calling in, because I know you got some things you want to say this morning, because this world in which we live is some kind of special. That's all I got to say. Who thought we would ever live to see the possibilities of a black man, so-called black man, indigenous man running this country? Yeah, we're talking about Barack Obama, but now we're talking about Kamala Harris. And I love what they said on the news of NBC, MSN, NBC, one of them channels. The Asian American president. I was like, oh, now she's not black, right? Oh, okay. All right. Y'all say so. You know, this country has a history of ignoring indigenous people. So call it what you want. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, it is 7:25 and we are right on time, because it is time to take your call as soon as I show you the affirmations that I want you to practice. And this is an affirmation that I think you will enjoy. But in the meantime, in between time, let me share this with you. Keep us in alignment with our purpose, with what we're supposed to be doing on this planet. So, are you doing what you were put here to do? And I showed you those t-shirts because that is the way that we raise funds for the homeless, unhoused. I've been saying homeless all my life, so I have to remember to say, not to say homeless, but to say the unhoused, because no one is homeless. They are unhoused. It's just that simple. So let me share this screen with you to show you the Higher Learning Network TV show. This is our, HLNhomeless.project. This is our Instagram page. If you go to it, Instagram.com/HLN.homeless.project, you'll see the work that we do there, feeding our brethren. There's a ton of videos there, so you can go and see them there on your own. I won't take up your time with that, but I just thought I'd share that with you. Okay? So now it's time for you to share this show with someone, because if you are listening and watching, we know here on Monday Morning Mindfulness that you are a participant. You care about what you see, what you do, what you have in your community. So if you would like to make a donation to the Higher Learning Network nonprofit tax deductible donation, these are Cash App is Zelda Speaks the number 2. And you already know the $ is in forward. I'm the one that, anyway. Venmo, Higher Learning Network, NFP. Zelle, you got to email me because I don't give that number out over the air. Or just text me at 312-383-9749. And for PayPal, it's higherlearningnetwork.org. But you can always text me if you'd like to make a donation, and I'll help walk you through that. And also, if you would like to advertise your products or services on your business on the Female Solution, you have that available to you as well. And if you'd like for your show to run over 20 times this week, inbox me or email me, Zelda at higherlearningnetwork.org. Okay. And just remember, everything you need to know that you don't get here or remember on the show. Some of us forget things a few times. Just go to our blog, tumblr.com, Higher Learning TV show. And as we continue with Monday Morning Mindfulness, it is your chance to call in. Ooh, but before we do, we got to take this break. And when we come back, I promise you that we will get your call. So text somebody and let them know that we're on. And we are talking this morning about you know who, Biden and Kamala Harris. So stay close. We'll be right back.
All right, cool. Is he going?
Between my teacher and you watching CTV.
like us to teach your school, organization, church, business, podcasting, and how to earn money, we can show you that too. So just email us, zelda@higherlearningnetwork.org.
Welcome to Canaglobe, the first ever virtual dispensary offering a world-class collection of cannabis brands drop shipped to your front door. How does it work? Canaglobe took the same concept Amazon used to become the largest company in the world. But instead of shipping toilet paper, t-shirts, and tennis shoes, Canaglobe offers something a lot sexier. Yeah, cannabis. With over 100 premier products, from bakables like chocolate chip cookies, brownies, fried chicken batter, to cannabis mocktails like pina colada, margarita, old fashioned, to gummy rocks, sweet tarts, seltzers, king palms, pre-rolls, disposable vapes, carts, and did I mention THCA flower and magic mushrooms? Canaglobe is the first ever to drop ship flower to every state. We're also the first ever to offer magic mushrooms legally to every state. Well, except Louisiana. We're also the first ever where you get to be the brand. You heard it. Meet the requirements and get your own brand at the dispensary. Your brand, fully paid for by the company, and you earn on company-wide revenue. Your brand can be featured right alongside celebrities and mega influencers such as Dan Bilzerian with Ignite, Holly Barker with Happy Snacks, Scotty Huss with Biscotti, and so much more. Rolling Stone magazine said, if it seems like a new state is legalizing cannabis nearly every week, don't worry, you're not high. It is indeed happening at an unprecedented pace. CNBC calls it the new gold rush. Forbes says the market could grow by 700%. And the Wall Street Journal calls it a tremendous market. We're currently in 26 countries and growing. Industry icons are saying that Canaglobe is the most innovative, disruptive, and compelling business model this industry has ever seen. You're probably asking yourself, how is this legal? Here's how. All our products are compliant with the 2018 Farm Bill. So what's the opportunity for you? To become a virtual dispensary owner without all the hassles. No experience is required. No storefront, no inventory, no licensing, and best of all, no apologies. And is 100% legal. You can become a virtual dispensary owner. There are 3 ways you can take advantage of this opportunity. 1. You can become an affiliate by simply purchasing any product on AutoShip and get paid 20% on all your customers' purchases. 2. Or you can become a VDO for a one-time fee of $2.99 plus $25 per month. You receive a business sample kit. You can earn up to 85% in commissions, unlimited levels, and you get trained by a certified trainer. However, if you are serious about making money, we highly recommend you become a VDO Pro so that you can get paid to train VDOs whether on your team or not, and you will receive training from a certified trainer. What do? It's simple and fun. You acquire a handful of customers and teach others to do the same. Simply share your QR code or your link, and every time someone buys something, you get paid. You can also share sample products with your friends, or host a party and share all the favors. It doesn't take long before you can have all kinds of people doing the very same thing. Here's how it works. You can earn from $100 to $275 every time you personally enroll a qualified VDO, and $75 to $175 every time someone in your network does the same thing. You can also earn from 15 to 27% on all your personal customers and 3 to 12% to unlimited levels every time a customer makes a purchase anywhere in your network. While we do not make any income claims, this is an example of how the compensation plan structure works. An area VDO that enrolls 3 QVDOs and helps them each acquire a handful of customers and duplicate that 6 levels, the area VDO would approximately earn $100,000 plus $18,000 per month in residual income. But the comp plan doesn't stop at 6 levels. It pays to unlimited levels. While this is a financial opportunity, the real reward is we get to change the world by transforming lives with these sacred plants. We put smiles back on faces, happiness in hearts, laughter in lives, and health back in the home. Thank you for watching. No, please get back with the person that shared this video with you and get started today.
Getting started today is what you can do. So you asked me, Zelda, you selling weed now? Come on now. Somebody had the nerve enough to ask me that. I'm like, do I look like I sell weed? Lord have mercy. You just missed the whole what I'm talking about. Pain relief. I play bid whist every Tuesday. Don't call me on Tuesday if you don't want your feelings hurt. And most of us are skaters. I used to skate because I had an accident. I can no longer skate. I'm just glad to be mobile. So after breaking my ankle, then having knee problems and hip problems, it's like I'm always in pain. That's why I'm always talking about walking and things of that nature. So Lawrence Lenore, one of our viewers and listeners who was watching the show, um, told me about Genesis. Actually, I saw him online on Facebook, and I was like, "You got a this virtual dispensary? How's that possible? It costs like 10 grand to get one started." It's like, no, it's less than $500. I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, okay." So I can use that as a vehicle to help us raise more money for our homeless and our youth projects. So that's what we do. And you can do the very same. So that is why we do what we do. And I want to share with you, it is on here somewhere, and I'm going to find it in just a second. Hold on, y'all. Be patient with y'all. Know I'm a senior now, so I can't see this little bitty right. Oh, and they have meetings every Monday through Thursday at 7 o'clock at night. So if you want to be on one of the meetings, they don't have to show your face, just show up. Anyway, I'll post more about that shortly. But in the meantime, in between time, you can join the conversation right now, because we can get off of Cantaloupe and get on to the female solution, because I know you want to talk about Kamala Harris, Biden stepping down. Call it 727-731-5192 or 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak as we go to the switchboard this morning to take your calls. And 773-221, you are okay. Is this it better be, I think this is Admiral Nelson Bay in Chicago. Yes, sir. I recognize that voice. Yes, please. Explain to us what you're talking about. Okay. I may know that, but not everybody else. So I need you to say that. So, and you, in essence, you said that to say what? Mm-hmm. Oh, really now? Talk to me. What do you mean when you say that doesn't look right? You got to explain that. Yes, please go right ahead. Wait a minute. Back up. Hold up. Hold up, Nelson. Did you just say that Kamala Harris was transgender? Oh, Okay. Mm. Oh, wow. Okay. 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 Unfortunately, can you hear me, Nelson? Because my guess, I'm being told that my caller, thank you, Viata. She says I don't even know how to pull this up on YouTube. Viata's Tiny House Village says Grand Rising can't hear your caller, but you're looking gorgeous as usual. Bless your heart. Oh, thank you so much. So I don't know what's going on, but they can't hear you, Nelson. Not quite sure why. So it just makes no sense to keep you on the call if they can't hear. If they can't hear you, just don't see the point. So maybe you need to hang up and call back. Let's try that. See how that works. How about, can we do that? Yeah. Let's see how that. Yes, it is my pleasure. But just hang up and call back and see if that'll make a difference. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Do that. And while he's doing that, just in case you didn't know, let me bring this up just so you can see there is a lot going on in the world. In case you don't know, Biden exits the race. He drops out of the 2024 presidential race, endorses Kamala Harris for president. How about that? And of course, they're always going to give you a ton of commercials, so we're going to skip that. Can you hear it? Nope, you can't. Turn it up. There you go.
Democrats calling for him to step aside. Right now, the list is at 38 congressional Democrats. That includes, though, Senator Joe Manchin, who caucuses with the Democrats but has changed his party affiliation to independent. He made that announcement today, and he also was on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan. Also on Face the Nation today, we heard from Dean Phillips, who mounted his own unsuccessful primary campaign against Biden, and he told Margaret Brennan that Biden had lost the confidence of Congress. So we know that the voices have been sometimes trickling, sometimes coming out in larger groups. It had appeared that there was a sort of coalescing even at the top, that lower ranking members of Congress were, quote unquote, being allowed to make these public statements in which they were wishing Biden would step aside. So certain leaders, Schumer, Jeffries, Pelosi, certainly have been reported as behind the scenes saying you have to do what is good for you. Many frontline Democrats, Democrats who are in very competitive races of their own, have been outspoken in saying they believe the president should step down. Of course, this all started after a very poor debate performance, the first debate against former President Trump, in which the president admitted he had a bad night. Later, it was revealed that he had a cold. And now, of course, we know that the president is in Rehoboth, his home in Delaware, recovering from COVID-19. We did get a report from the White House doctor today saying he continues to improve. He had his 8th dose of Paxlovid. But this is certainly An enormous development here. The president saying that he will not, while he did intend to run again, he believes it is in the best interest of the party and country for him to stand down and solely focus on fulfilling his duties as president. This according to a new letter that was posted on X. The president also says he will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about his decision. Of course, what happens next? That is the big question that we will all be wondering. We will all be asking, will it be sort of an open primary? Of course, while Dean Phillips did challenge the president, by and large, it wasn't considered sort of a serious campaign against the president. He won his primaries handily. That was one of the arguments that he said he was staying in the race, in addition to polling in his campaign, continually saying that they saw multiple routes through the electoral map. But now clearly the president, and listening to members within his own party, and saying that he is going to step down. So will it be Vice President Kamala Harris? Will it be some other names that many Democrats saying they have a deep bench, successful governors that they would like to possibly have in the running as well? Senators Casey, Whitmer, Kelly, those have been some names. And we are now going to go to a CBS News special report on this news that President Biden is stepping down. Let's go ahead and wait for that special report.
And while they're waiting on this special report, I'd like to know what you're
about
thinking.
how so many House Democrats are worried about Biden's ability to win, worried about their own political future. And President Biden has watched as some of his closest allies in the Senate, like Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio, who shares many of Biden's views, his appeals to working voters and union members, they've started to break with Biden publicly, put aside any kind of private whisper. And so this has been a tortured decision, I'm told, for President Biden, something he arrived at after a long and winding series of conversations where until the very end, the 11th hour here, he was insisting to many in his family and his inner circle that he wanted to stay in. He firmly believes even now that former President Trump is a threat to American democracy. Think about why Biden decided to run for presidency in the winter of his political career. He has always cited Charlottesville and the white supremacist gathering in 2017 in Virginia as a reason to get in. He fears the rise of what he believes is an authoritarian streak in the Republican Party, the rise of white supremacy broadly in this country, and that has compelled him to stay in despite all of these mounting concerns about his age and his political ability. He believed until the 11th hour that he beat Trump once, he could beat Trump again, but he knew also that as a longtime political operator, someone who has more of a political antenna than almost anyone I've ever covered, that he was losing support fast from Democrats. He lost Democrats who have long supported him, and he wanted to go into the convention with strength. And if that became no longer possible, and he was facing a crossroads where the party might not be with him at that convention in Chicago. And there hadn't been whispers yet of someone mounting a challenge against Biden for the nomination at the convention, but there was certainly talk that if Biden didn't step away in the coming weeks, someone might have to start to run against him. So he's avoided any kind of messy convention by making this decision. But I can't underscore enough, after reporting on this story for weeks, how this is a sad moment for President Biden. He is a proud man in the eyes of his closest friends and family members. This is not someone who ever would want to leave the presidency, something he has thought about as a rising young leader in the 70s and 80s through personal humiliation, political humiliation. You think about his run in 1988. He had a plagiarism scandal, then suffered an aneurysm, but he came back, always coming back, always returning, never quitting, staying in the Senate. Falls apart in 2008 politically when he runs for president, then put on the ticket by then Senator Barack Obama. 8 years president, with the first black man to ever serve in the White House. And then he runs for president, and again, everyone counts out Joe Biden. He loses in New Hampshire in the primary in 2020. He loses in Iowa. He keeps losing. No one counts him as a real contender. And then all of a sudden, one of the leading black Democrats in the country, Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, endorses him, and Biden storms to the nomination in 2020. So that history of a comeback has been informing so much of the decision-making and conversations in recent days. But at the end, at the final hour, it was just no competition for what Biden faced from his fellow Democrats in terms of pressure to leave. But Biden will be closely watched in the coming days. Does he anoint, politically speaking, Vice President Kamala Harris as his successor or not? And if he does not, you could face a chaotic Democratic convention with no clear standard bearer for a party that's already on edge about its electoral prospects.
Robert Costa, please stand by. And I do want to back up some of the points that you were just discussing there regarding how difficult of a decision this was for the president. If we could bring up the statement one more time for those viewers who may just be joining us here in this breaking news hour on a Sunday. The president now announcing today that he will end his re-election bid. In a letter just released, he writes that it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And getting to the point of what Robert was talking about regarding how difficult and heartbreaking of a decision this was for President Biden, he goes on to say, while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to step down, stand down, that is, and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Willie James Inman is traveling with the president. He is in Rehoboth with the president now, and he joins us now live with an update. Willie, what are people there saying on this historic day?
Hey there, Christine. It's good to be with you. Well, this is just sending political shockwaves across the nation today. For the most part, things are going about as they should here in this beach community. This is a community that President Biden knows very well. He spends a lot of time here. But if you talk to the folks here, they love President Biden. This is his home state, of course. This is a town that he visits quite often. But in his statement, he also talked about the successes of his administration. He thanked Vice President Kamala Harris. But as Bob pointed out, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out if President Biden does indeed endorse Vice President Kamala Harris to take the helm to be the Democratic nominee and go up against former President Donald Trump. But the president really saw the doors closing in, so to speak, as those senators came out. You had Joe Manchin come out today and said that the president needed to step aside. You had members of the House, more than 3 dozen Democratic lawmakers stepping out publicly and saying that the president should end his political campaign. And in fact, that is what he did today. Although, of course, he is behind closed doors. He's in isolation because he has COVID-19, growing frustrated with all these public calls for him to step down. So quite a moment in American history for the president to step down in this way in a statement. We haven't seen the president since he arrived here in Rehoboth Beach amid that COVID-19 diagnosis. But I anticipate, as he mentioned in his statement, we will hear from him in the coming days.
So, Willie, no indication then, as you just mentioned, the president does plan on speaking to the nation later this week. As far as you know, and what your sources and what you're reporting is indicating, is that we will not hear from the president today, other than this letter.
All indications are that we will perhaps not publicly see the president. They have called what we call here a lid, which means that we won't see the president publicly. And remember, he is isolating from COVID-19. Of course, things could always change. He is, in fact, the president of the United States, so we could perhaps see him give an address in some type of way. But for now, what we have from the president himself is the statement saying that he will not seek another term, essentially for the good of the country, but also for the good of the party, because you will see this play out if it were to potentially go forward with President Biden at the top of the ticket. If the Democrats were to do that, it could be messy at the convention with the party not fully behind him. So the president making this tough decision after decades in the political atmosphere, both in the nation and around the world, making this decision to not seek another term, Christine.
Willie James Inman, thank you for that reporting. He is traveling with the president here this afternoon, with the president in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where the president is now recovering from COVID. I want to bring in now Joel Payne, our political contributor here at CBS News. Joel, as you're listening to this all unfold here this afternoon, I just have to know your thoughts in the context of how this will look in America's history.
This is
a political earthquake for sure. This is major. I don't need to underscore that. This is a very significant development for a number of reasons, particularly looking at the calendar, looking at what this means for the Democratic Party. But I'd be remiss not to take a second and just focus on Joe Biden here for a moment. This is an incredible personal sacrifice that he's making, and it bookends a personal sacrifice that he made in 2020 when he ran for the presidency by his own narration because of what happened in Charlottesville and his concern about the future of democracy. And so it's, in many ways, it's very appropriate that he would end this chapter of his political career focused again, not on himself, but on the American people. That is the story that will be told, not just within the Democratic Party, but I think millions of Americans will see this as the selfless act that I think it's designed to be. Joe Biden clearly understands that his campaign for president is untenable going forward. The leaders of his party have been clear in their conversations with him. And I think given the stakes of this election, he has made the very difficult, selfless decision to end his campaign. And I think that this will put him in very rarefied air, not just, again, in Democratic politics, but really just in the annals of presidential history. This is a pretty remarkable turn of events, but also a remarkable, decision by Joe Biden, someone who has been in the public space for 5 decades, who has started off as he's told it himself, as one of the youngest senators in U.S. history, went through a storied career interwoven with personal crisis and tragedy, ran for president several times unsuccessfully, and at this late stage in his career became president. And now, after achieving this goal that he has been chasing for so long, has decided to step aside for the betterment of the country. It's a pretty remarkable story.
Joel Payne, if I could ask you to stand by, because we have now just made contact with Nancy Cortez, who is at the White House. And Nancy, obviously a historic day. As I mentioned here, as soon as we broke in with this breaking news, this is just another twist to what has already been a historic election cycle. And as we were speaking there with Joel Payne, our CBS political contributor, he honed in on how this is a personal sacrifice for President Biden. Do you agree?
I do agree. This is a position, the presidency, that President Biden has been seeking for nearly half a century. But before we get to that, Christine, we do have a major piece of news, which is just moments ago, President Biden answered a question that many of us have been asking, and that was whether he would endorse his vice president to take his place. And in a statement on social media, he now has. Here's what he says. He says, "My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump." So this is a major puzzle piece falling into place, Christine. Had he not done that, we would have been heading into several very chaotic weeks, perhaps a contested convention. But this is the president basically turning not only his endorsement over to the vice president, but also his campaign war chest, his campaign operation, basically giving her the most high-profile endorsement he can to launch her on what will now be a breakneck 3.5-month campaign for the presidency. This is just something that we really haven't seen in modern times.
I have to imagine before he made this endorsement, his inner circle, his team must have said to him, this is our best path forward.
Yes, and there have been a couple of different schools of thought within the party, Christine. There are some who say, let's have some kind of mini election, some sort of mini primary that will end up strengthening whoever comes out of it. And then there's been this other school of thought that says, no, that's a process that's uncontrollable. You can't predict who will end up being the victor. You could end up damaging any number of those who are involved. And these are individuals, some of whom have not been vetted on a national stage. And so this is clearly the safest route, especially given how little time there is to introduce the Democratic nominee to the public, get them comfortable enough with this individual to hopefully enable them to have a strong showing in November. So there's no question that this is the safest path. And the fact that the president did this and endorsed Kamala Harris as the nominee so soon after he announced that he himself would not be seeking the nomination is an indication that despite their public claims that they weren't looking into this at all, that behind the scenes there was a plan for this kind of 1-2 punch for the president to announce he wouldn't seek the nomination and then in very short order to throw his support behind his vice president.
Nancy, so much information to take in here this afternoon. Please remind us and our viewers how exactly we got here. How did we get to today?
Well, about a year ago, there were a lot of questions about whether President Biden would seek re-election. There were many Democratic voters who were a little bit nervous about the fact that he would be 86 at the end of a second term, who wondered if he had the energy and the vigor to continue. And he argued at that time, yes, he did. He said he had had a very successful first term. He felt he could be successful in a second term. He took some time to think about it, longer than anybody expected, and he ended up deciding to run for re-election. But just recently, in the perhaps the last 2 months, I would say, we've really seen him slow down a step.
Well, obviously, he's slowing down. The man is in his 80s, okay? So let's keep that in mind first and foremost. You know, as you age, you just don't get, you just don't move like you used to. That's just a fact of life. That's how it is. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be joined after the break. My guess is not guessing. What's his name? Gosh, I can't remember his name. He had a show at Can TV. My guess ain't guessing. Anyway, we'll be joined by the executive producer of the show, and that is Naima Latif. So you stay close, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. So hold on.
A lot of lawmakers who were saying publicly that they wanted him to step aside, but who were worried about crossing him publicly, didn't want to appear disloyal, so they tried to put on the pressure behind the scenes. But when that didn't work, you saw Democrats coming out much more forcefully, and you started hearing some equivocation even from Democratic leaders, reports that the leaders of the House and the Senate were calling on, or not calling on him to resign publicly, but at least telling him behind the scenes that many of their members didn't think that he could win and that he would end up dragging down Democratic candidates in the House and Senate, perhaps causing them to lose the House.
Now we can't hear what just happened. You know, anything that could happen will happen. And as you can see, there's a little chaos going on this morning. What can I tell you? You know, it happens. It happens. So we're trying to figure out what these issues are with the sound this morning, because the things that I'm about to say is going to blow you away. So you need to, I need to be sure you hear this. If you're listening online, let us know if you can hear me. Just type, I hear you, or yes, how about that? Or no, either one of those. I need you to do that for me, because I can't hear Naima.
30-second radio ad and watch your business increase worldwide.
Okay.
Oh man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456. and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456. Do you worry about finances, family, health, job, relationships? Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answered yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You only feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down to earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, publish a book, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. To take advantage of the deal of the day, go to zeldaspeaks.com or call 312-409-6619. Put in promo code The Female Solution and get free shipping. That's zeldaspeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit zeldaspeaks.com.
As we get back to
when the convention begins in Chicago.
Sure.
There have been those, Christina, we should caution this and maybe explain why there's some appetite for this. There's a belief among those who aren't fans of the president anymore, believe he can't do this, that this kind of drama
Okay, where did the sound go? Can you hear me? I need you to type it in if you can hear me, because yeah, we're having some challenges this. Type in yes if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, type in no. I need to know. I need you to communicate with me, because all I'm hearing. Kamala Harris, details on Kamala. I didn't know she was 59. Yeah, they say black don't crack. They ain't never lied. Oh, even though she doesn't see herself as black. You know, the news media reported her as Asian. Everything comes from black. So you can say what you want to say. We know the truth. And the truth is, everything comes from the motherland. But I want to share with you a conversation I heard last. Actually, it was a group chat. And the chat was about, of course, this was happening. And I think there's maybe 15, 16 members in it. And not everybody agrees. And these are all members of the media. Not everybody agrees. It got a little heated. I'm not calling any names, but you know who they are because you see them. They write and they produce shows. And anyway, said, I don't think Kamala should be president because she don't like black men. And I said to myself, you got some work to do. So as Attorney General, before her career where she is now, she was a former California Attorney General, where she had a history while first woman, Black American, and South Asian. Oh, now she's Black. Okay. She had a history, has a history of locking black men up. So that was the gist of the conversation on the text. If one said, I don't hear that nonsense. black man, I wouldn't vote for. I'm not going to vote for. And as a matter of fact, it would take me off this group text. And then they said stop, and the other person didn't stop. It got a little messy. And I just thought that was very interesting how we can't come that we have a challenge coming together, agreeing on things. And that's why there's so much chaos in this country. But I want to know what you think. Because I think, you really want to know what I think? I think it's a game they're playing with us. Okay, thank you, Viata. You can hear me. I think it's a game they're playing with us. Because we all know that the people who run this country plan 50 years ahead, 20 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 5 years ahead. So what makes you think that they just came up with the idea that he had COVID-19? He has COVID-19, and he's in his 80s. He's not too coherent, and he needs to step down. What makes you think that this isn't planned? As the orange man would say, fake news. You see, because news is simply part of the programming, and we're all stuck on the programming. I talked about programming in my first book, The Passion Principles, Pathways to Purpose, Power, and Profit. Nobody listens. They listen to what they see with these live eyes on TV. Don't believe me. Don't believe nothing I say. Do your own research. I want you to Google mocking return. I gotta find it now. It is the Mockingbird report. Yeah, Google that Mockingbird report. And this shows how the CIA, along with others, designed a program to keeping us in bondage. And if you get it, I will include it on the blog. So I'm going to make a note what to put on the blog. And that is the month report. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to believe nothing you hear, because everything that you hear on these channels is all part of the programming. The CIA and the FBI and others designed this, keep you right where you are, glued to the TV to see what they have to say. Why do you say that, Zelda? Conspiracy? No, he told you. It's online. The information is right there in front of you. Mockingbird report, CIA. Nothing I say. Don't believe it, because you have a chance to do your own research. You are sitting in front of the TV. It's like when OJ and other instances, news report. How can we be so naive? I understand, overstand, because I retired. I'm a retired broadcaster from radio. Worked at WGCI AM 1390. So the AM and the FM on the same floor. They have a meeting every Monday morning. The programming department. Program everything that you listen to. Oh, yeah, that's my data. That's my record. Yeah. But did you listen to the lyrics? Did you listen to how they are training our children to be violent, to be not respectful? See, every Monday morning, I don't know if it was 9 or 10 a.m., but the program director, that was Elroy Smith at the time. Shout out to Elroy Smith. All over the world and this thing programming other stations in the nation. Number one program on the planet. Because you brought GCI to number one. Hello. Hello. Okay. This is in radio is where I discovered. I said that to say this. This is where I discovered the programming aspect. So I wrote that in the book, the second chapter, and my book, Passion Principle, market, because they don't want you to know what I know. These are things I saw. And I had a chance to work for NBC5 News and Traffic. Baby, the things that went on behind the scene, you can't tell because I'm not ready to leave the planet because they will take you out of here. You see what they did to Dr. CD, they did to Prince. You see what they did to Michael Jackson, who bought the Beatles catalog. You can't outsmart us. We're not having it. I mean, just the list is endless. So just know that you're being programmed. Not saying good, bad, or indifferent. It just is. And until you look up that Mockingbird report, you're not gonna believe nothing I said. And share it with somebody. Don't keep this information to yourself. Because we are so we are so bamboozled, it's ridiculous. And if you'd like to make a comment on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, feel free. We'd love to hear what you have. Beata's Tiny House Village says her history is one of the reasons she got less than 1% approval when she first ran for president. Tell it, Beata. Absolutely a game they're playing with the citizens. Tell the truth, my sister. This girl pulls no woman, Beata Robinson, my sister from another mister. If you did not see the show last night, please go to Facebook or YouTube. Well, which is right there, Beata's Tiny House. This is the kind of thinking where we have to be galactical thinkers, transmitting thoughts with our mind. Because don't believe me. Think about the last time you thought about somebody and you called them and they said, I was just thinking about you. Mental telepathy, that's galactic thinking because you're going over borders. You're going over and beyond what is expected by using the airwaves. It's floating. Our words have wings. That's why we have to be very mindful of what we are saying, what we are thinking, and what we're doing. Why you got a sweater on? It's cold in here, and I'd rather be cold because it's 99 degrees outside, so it's freezing in here. But I have no problem. I'd rather be cold. I never thought I'd hear myself. But anyway, I digress. I do this. You know, as a senior, we have that ability. Anyway, y'all being bamboozled and don't even know it. Malcolm told you before he left the planet. If you live in Florida, you being bamboozled. Listen. But I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world. I digress. I do this sometimes because I've been in Jamaica and I always thought I wanted to move to Jamaica. But I got there and saw how hot it was. I was like, I need my 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall. I need all my seasons because I don't want to get rid of my coats and my boots and all of that. You always think you have or that there's always something better on the other side. That's not always the truth. But I do want to know what you think. So type it in. Okay, there's her information. Years old, woman, Black American and South Asian, African American, South Asian American to be elected vice president, former senator from California, former prosecutor, where she was known to lock up black men. Black men. But what you don't realize is that there's a system in place, excuse me, that directs her what she has to do, who she has to prosecute. You already know. If you are a melanated person in this country, you already know the odds are already stacked. So if you think about it, stop and pause. Think about how we have been bamboozled in thinking somebody can save us. That's not going to happen. That's not the way it works. That is not the way it works. We have to save us. So how can we do that? Be vocal. You cannot rely on this all day. It's not how it works. Because this is a program. Somebody had to program this. And we're on it all day. Every day. I have to catch myself sometime. I get on TikTok because I love TikTok. I want to go live, but I haven't been there yet. I got to get the courage to do that. And, I'm doing. I'm live here. That's what I do. There's some steps I need to take, and I need to do a practice session first. And I try to do it works so well. I'm not tech savvy like a lot of you are, and I'm still learning. So I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm glad I didn't do it this way because I can see that some things aren't working. Audio is an issue this way, but that's the issue that I can live with. But I can't live with knowing that I'm being programmed and maybe silenced for doing it. That's why you hear all the issues this morning with the audio. Okay, and Naima will be joining us shortly. But in the meantime, in between time, I just want to share something with you. And I'll turn this on so you can hear it.
For President Biden and for this administration has been a partner in governing and has been somebody who has really built a profile around a couple of issues that we know are going to be very engaging this time around. The issue of abortion, which she is probably the foremost spokesperson within the Democratic Party right now, and also issues of consequence to young voters like climate change and student debt relief. She went on a very much ballyhooed, college tour in recent months that I believe has really rebooted her reputation with those populations of voters. Not to mention just the obvious fact, let's just say the quiet part out loud, Black women are the strongest, most reliable part of the Democratic voting coalition.
And they know that.
And I think that any attempt to pass over Kamala Harris, who has been a very strong and very representative vice president, I think will be received poorly. I know that maybe the polling says something mixed about that, but I do think a party that has historically had a tortured history with recognizing and representing Black voices would have a lot of challenges to keep that coalition together, which is highly dependent on engaged Black voters if something like that were to happen. So to me, there was no other choice but for Joe Biden to endorse Kamala Harris here. I would not be surprised if you see many other Democrats do that. I think just in the time we've been talking, Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal has endorsed Vice President Harris. I imagine you'll see many folks do that. I think a name to watch, a person to watch in terms of how she will treat the news of the Harris endorsement would be Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, somebody who recent reporting has suggested wanted an open process if Biden were to step aside, as opposed to immediately moving the nomination to Kamala Harris. So there is a lot here, and I believe the next few days will be of great consequence to figure out whether or not Kamala Harris's endorsement from Joe Biden will transfer to the rest of the party.
All right, Joe.
So a brown woman in a brown skin impersonating brown people. The fact that she has a history of locking up brothers, melanated men, that does not sit well and should not sit well with you. Yeah, she got the same skin color as I have, maybe a tad bit brighter, but she's got the same skin color. So do not be deceived by people who look like you, as Admiral Nelson Bake said when he called in this morning. It's prophecy. And that was written what? How many centuries ago? And it still applies to us today. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sit and suck up the Kool-Aid? Because it's Kool-Aid. I don't know what color it is. Right now, it's pretending to be black. But you have to have the wherewithal and call upon the creator that you know, whatever it is you choose to call it, God, Allah, Jesus, Jesus Christ, Jehovah Jireh, universe, creator, enemy, whatever you call it, whatever name you give it. That is the name that you need to be connected to guide you, to guard you, and direct you, because they are lying to us left and right, and we are sucking it up like some good old red Kool-Aid back in the day. Drink that Kool-Aid, baby. Go right ahead on. Drink that Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking it. And my sister from another Mr. Viada's Tiny House Village says, Kamala has developed an international and domestic persona of being high most of the time and speaking word salads. I never heard that one, Viada. In other words, she's a joke, is she? Wow. I did not know that. Kamala has developed an international and domestic persona of being high. Word salads. I never heard that one. I never heard that. Beata, I wish you would call in and because that's a different. And there's the orange man. Well, he's no longer orange. He has good hair colorist now. He's back to blonde, like his brethren, Joe Biden. So let's see this lie that he has to tell, and then we're going to take a break and come back, and we want to hear what you have to say.
Very painful decision for a 50-year legacy in Washington at such a consequential time, having passed bipartisan legislation, having faced a world in crisis, and by the way, about to go face-to-face with a world leader. And trying to broker Middle East peace.
Right. The President of the United States saying, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Want to bring in Robert Costa. And Robert, obviously a very difficult decision for President Biden to make. He has been in elected office for some 52 years, has a tight-knit group of supporters. They were pushing very hard to try and stay in this race, just as early as yesterday, saying he's going to be back out on the campaign trail next week. He's going to be meeting with the Israeli prime minister that's here in town. What changed?
This is a seismic political moment, a historic moment for this country. The first time since March 31st, 1968, that incumbent president has decided to step away from the nomination. That same year, 1968, the Democrats were having their convention in Chicago, just like they will be in Chicago this year. For Democrats, this was...
In which we will be at the Democratic National Convention next month in August. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and a few other things as we take our last break. And when I come back, we will be joined by a woman who has been around the world, who knows a few things and can break some things down to you in a way that you will understand. So let's take our last break. Text somebody, call somebody, forward this to somebody, because baby, it's about to get heated all up in chair. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We are a part of the online network of Associated Internet Radio hosts, On Air. On Air empowers you with transformative news and interactive radio TV shows. This is such a wonderful time to be alive and to see our human family coming together as one community as a result of that powerful tool, the internet. We can now talk directly to each other all over the world. There's no need for conflict or misunderstanding. There's no need for violence to solve our differences. We can talk to each other face to face until we reach an agreement. On Air offers a fantastic global guide to communicators from all over the world who are using their internet platforms to inspire us to strive to be our best selves in order to become the kind, compassionate, loving people we were all born to be. Once we do that, we'll see planet Earth transformed into a place of peace. Subscribe to the recommended YouTube channels, Facebook pages, and podcasts created by these Voices of Enlightenment. On Air provides daily news briefs and a weekly magazine to keep you abreast of events and opportunities. On Air news affiliates in television, radio, and print share information, insight, and interviews with notable personalities. Go to onaireverywhere.com for a daily dose of uplifting news. We're on air everywhere, online all the time.
And with that being said, we are on air everywhere, online all the time. And if you would like to have your message on the Female Solution, we would love to have you have your message, your work, and run 20 times a week. And that is available to you. And if you'd like it, to have your business promoted on the Female Solution Radio Show over 20 times a week, inbox me or email me, zelda@higherlearningnetwork.org, or you can contact our very own executive producer, and that would be Naima Latif. Take it away, my sister.
Wow. Well, the country is reeling. The country is reeling from the news, even though I don't know why. And, if you were paying attention, you know that this was something that the Democratic Party was seriously considering for a long time, especially with the reality that President Biden was just not able to camouflage the effects of aging in a way that would have made voters comfortable that he could actually last a whole second term. And if you're on the list of the Democratic Party supporters, then you've been getting the emails and the text messages asking you survey questions. Are you still voting for Joe Biden? Would you vote for Kamala Harris if she was a nominee? I mean, so they've been doing background research on it. And you can believe they didn't just, pop up, oh, he announced he's leaving. What are we going to do? They've been putting things in motion. I mean, there was a mass meeting, many mass meetings, but definitely a major mass meeting on Zoom yesterday evening. Women are getting organized for real. And so it's not like, we were caught, not knowing what to do. The wheels have already been put in motion in terms of what's the next step and how do we organize this massive movement that we're capable of organizing as women, because women know how to organize.
Yes, we do.
So knowing that there is a groundswell of new interest now that things have changed, you got the young people that may now get involved that were bored stiff, two old white men, so a lot of them didn't really care one way or another. And then you have a lot of people that have a vested interest in whatever the policy is going to be with our overseas connections, our involvement in war activities. Is it going to be more peaceful because there's a woman who might have a different perspective and might lean more toward negotiating some type of peace agreements rather than, let's send out the troops and bomb everybody attitudes that we have allowed to be too much of American philosophy. And there's all kinds of things that people are thinking about as they look at Kamala, the person. Now, I do know, and not every woman supports her because they may disagree on some principles, some values, some positions that she has, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But now we also got to look at we as a people. How often are we complaining about what we don't have and what they're not letting us do and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have an opportunity for someone who believes is empathetic to our cause because we share a background, history, and cultural experiences, when we get that person and then we trash them, what does that say about us? Sometimes people just like to complain and not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that if you don't support Kamala, you're a complainer, but I want you to think about how often we complain that we don't have opportunities. And she is, yes, she's a politician, a very skilled politician. She has put herself in the position to be where she is, and it didn't happen by accident. There are steps that she took along the way to get where she is, and the position that she had in California as Attorney General, that's not easy. That's not an easy thing because you got to put some people in jail that have been convicted of doing some wrong. And there are people who aren't comfortable with someone with a law background, but let's look at the facts. An elected official is a lawmaking position. That's what you do. You're making the laws, you're enforcing the laws that govern the country. That's what that position is. A lot of times we like to elect an activist because, they protest and they say stuff that we want to hear. But then that activist doesn't have the skills to put forth legislation that changes policy because that's what the position is. So we have to have more understanding about the skills that it takes to govern, to organize people, to distribute resources so that everyone has what they need, to coordinate the activities that bring resources into the country, whether it's business connections, to understand how science and technology plays a role in the way we're able to provide these services in a better way that's in harmony with our environment and our ecology. All of these things are part of governing. And so you look at a person's level of intelligence, their experience, some of the things they've said. And it's not like she was never thinking of being president. She ran for president. That's how she got to be vice president. She was one of the top contenders when they had the debates. And we've heard her positions on things. She's very powerful in being able to stand her ground. And I believe that she will be aggressive enough to face Donald Trump. I think that she's been low key over the past 4 years because that's strategically the best position for her.
Teach, my sister, teach.
People have this stereotype, the angry Black woman. I mean, come on. All Michelle Obama had to do was wear some braids or something like that, and people get scared. She couldn't even braid her hair till she got out of college, until she got out of the government. I mean, let's be real. The fear that this nation has of an African-American woman who stands up for herself and is strong and powerful and unyielding. It's the paranoia they have because, they know that we have unfinished business. They know that there's still an underlying movement of anger as to the unfairness that continues, this racial inequality, this forced deprivation of people to be able to do some basic things like get inside a home and be sheltered from the elements. You've worked with the unhoused, the homeless, the people who are living on the streets. This is a result of policies of people who are deciding that there needs to be an underclass that can only survive if they work in an enslaved kind of position to the others, to the people who want to be the upper class. So this country was built on inequality. Who is going to step up and say it, and say that this inequality has been based on keeping women in a subservient position, keeping people who were not heritage in a subservient position? It's the policies and it's the programs and it's the positions that have been enforced over the centuries that got us to this present state. Who's going to say it out loud and say that time is over? Somebody's got to have the strength to say it. I believe Kamala Harris is that person. And I know that there are those who are fearful simply because they believe that through their own brainwashing, that anybody who is not white and male doesn't have the capacity to lead. We got to look at ourselves. Are we, the women, guilty of that kind of brainwashing where we don't feel worthy of leadership? That brainwashing is in all of our religions. It's in all of our literature. It's in all of our movies. It's a constant, repetitive message. Women aren't leaders. Women aren't leaders. Women aren't leaders. We digest that. A lot of us raise our families with our children, and we will suppress the aggression in our girls when they have a talent or a skill and an ability, and we'll push it in our boys. You have cultures all around the world that are still doing that. Even when a woman is brilliant, she's a scientist. We saw that movie Hidden Figures. It was those women that got those astronauts in space because of their mathematical skills.
Thank you.
But how many countries around the world won't even let their girls go to school? So when it comes to leadership, a woman needs to demonstrate we can be powerful leaders. We have been powerful leaders in the past. We have led nations in the past, and leading doesn't mean having the physical might to be able to annihilate somebody. It means having the mental capacity to think your way out of a situation, having the wisdom in your heart to know how to reach out to a person and empathize with their position, and to be able to negotiate a settlement so that everybody is in agreement.
Thank you.
Women have that power. Sometimes men are too arrogant. That's why we're financing wars where people are killing babies. And everybody's enraged about that, who's seeing what's happening, because they know that nobody is willing to risk a political position in order to speak out about it. So somebody has to have the power behind them to do it. And when women organize and we show the massive strength that we have, then Kamala will have the courage to speak and say what she needs to say, knowing that we have her back. So that's the task that we have coming now. Are we willing to step up and be the people we say we want to be? Are we willing to dismantle the system of patriarchy that has kept us in a state of subservience for all of these centuries? Are we willing to step into our womanhood, our true womanhood, which means leadership? Are we willing to get rid of the excuses that we have put forth, blaming other people for not giving us opportunities? Well, now the opportunity is here. Are we willing to step up and seize the moment? Or are we succumbing to our own brainwashing, our own self-contempt as women, believing that we're not worthy, we're not capable, we're not smart enough, we're not strong enough to lead a nation? We look at ourselves, and this is going to give us an opportunity to see what's really inside of us. After this election, no more excuses. No matter who wins, no more excuses. In a democracy, people get the leadership they deserve. If we are admiring a reality TV star who says whatever he wants to say about women and laughs about it, and I'm not saying he's never done anything good. He's done some great things. He did the best he knew how as president. Everybody does the best they know how, because that's all you do. You don't get into leadership to try to make a mess of things. You do your best. He's doing his best based on his conditioning, his upbringing, his perspective. He's doing his best. But if we know that there are things he will never see and comprehend because he didn't experience those things, we cannot expect him to have the empathy that's needed to change the system that oppresses massive numbers of people. That's
and not interested in changing the system that oppresses massive people.
So you have to have somebody who is. And yes, she was Attorney General, and yes, she did imprison some people. And
whole lot of black men.
And that's not to say that there are those who, because of economic disparities, did not get the best opportunities. But we also have to take responsibility for our choices.
Yes.
If you are choosing to not raise your child and your child goes astray because they didn't get the strength of two parents in that household giving them guidance and cooperating and working together so that they had a safe environment that took care of them, and your child grows up to be someone who chooses to do things that are illegal and then gets caught and goes to prison. Do not blame the person who put them in prison. Look at yourself. All of us who are adults who either separated from our mother or father of our children and did not co-parent and did not provide the safety and security for our children that they needed to be properly guided. And our children grew up to be those people who became a menace to society and were therefore persecuted and prosecuted and put in prison. Don't blame the system, because everything starts in the home.
Thank you.
And when you have a decision to have sex with somebody that you don't have the intention or maturity to unite with and raise that child that you bring into this world together, then that's where the problem starts. And I'm not stereotyping people. It's not just black people. It's people in general. Everybody who is on this earth came from two parents who came from two parents who came from two parents. So we have a whole lineage that we are coming from. And at which generation did we stop taking responsibility for our children? We're putting these people out into the world that's causing hurt and pain. The only system we have right now is a criminal justice system that punishes people for being in pain because they didn't get love. So can we change that system? First of all, let's heal the hurt of those who are doing time, because they did time. They're doing time, not always because they didn't have the money for a good lawyer. Sometimes they hurt people and they need to be away from society. But while they're away from society, we need to be healing them.
Thank you.
Therapy, all kinds of ways.
Healing centers, not jails.
Yes. So we can do that. And perhaps a woman would be more amenable to transforming a prison industrial complex, prison industry that is big business that's profiting from our pain. Maybe she would be more amenable, even though she helped put people away, but I'm sure it caused her pain to have to do that.
I hope so. I know I shouldn't hope anybody pain, but I hope so.
Absolutely. And also people feel pain who have loved ones who had to be put away.
Yeah. So it affects the entire family, not just the person.
It affects the whole family.
And then it affects
the community.
Generations of families. Yeah.
Generations, yes. So it's not a person, it's a system that needs to be remade. And we can do it with somebody who has at least the capacity for empathy. I don't see the capacity for empathy on the other side, where all people think of, how can we profit? How can we profit? How can we profit? How can we profit from people who are emotionally destroyed from an upbringing where they were given no encouragement? How can we profit from people who are in a state of distress and are using illegal substances to soothe their pain? How can we profit from people whose families have been broken and who have no financial means of maintaining a home or paying their bills? How can we profit from their pain? That's the systems that we have in place right now. Who is willing to change that mindset that creates those systems that profit from people's pain? I believe a woman would do it before a man who has profited from the pain.
Amen. But she's got to be a woman with a heart.
Yes.
And that heart has to be open to the suggestions of the people. And not only that, be part of the policy making. We need to be a part of the policy making decision so that we keep tab on what's happening in the House, because the policies that are in effect are not for our greatest interest. And I want to talk about that a little bit for a second. But right now, I want to comment on Viada's tiny house village. She says the Jewish lobby AIPAC is paying DC employees to keep the bombs falling in Gaza. What influence do you think Kamala's Jewish attorney husband has in ending the Zionist aggression in Palestine? Excellent.
I want to address that from not just the political standpoint, but the spiritual standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You have a group of people in that area of the world that have been warring for too many decades. And yes, that situation was created primarily after World War II, and it's a very volatile situation. Ultimately, when people are choosing to stay at war with each other, not forgive, not negotiate, not sit down and talk for the good of their children, they are spiritually stuck where they are. And it's their responsibility to choose to end the war. And the people themselves have to grow to a point where they are sick and tired of killing and dying. And some people, and I believe Viada had a group on her show, I think it was her show, where they, a group that has created a school where they have both the Muslims and the Jews attending, and the children are growing up as friends. These are the measures that it's going to take. The grown people who are stuck in that anger and that hate and that vengeance, sometimes you have to let them die out.
Because it shows up as disease in your body.
Yes. And you have to bring forth new life, new thought, new spirits need to come forth into that region and change the direction. It's not going to come from the current people. And you do have some very blind people who are, we got to support Israel. Palestine, the people are being annihilated. Yes, all of that is happening. But these are souls that are choosing to stay on that course of hatred toward each other. And it doesn't do anything but result in mutual annihilation. The Jewish people, I don't care how much they repress the people. If folks have gotten to the point where they will blow themselves up to kill you, you can't be safe and secure and feel comfortable anywhere, because they no longer fear death at all. Matter of fact, they will die willingly to kill you. So that's, there was a scene in The Godfather.
Programming.
Yes, programming. There was a scene in the Godfather where when Michael Corleone, the son of the Don, he was about to take over, trying to do a deal in Cuba. But he saw, I think it was Cuba, but he saw one of the protesters blow himself up. And he said, there's no way the people are going to win. There's no way the government's going to win. When you have people who are that dedicated, they're willing to die for a cause, you can't win. I don't care how much money you put behind it. I don't care about how much troops you put behind it. When people are at that level, same thing with Vietnam. People got to the point where they would strap bombs to babies and use babies as bait to blow up the soldiers. When people have gotten to that point of desperation where their revolution, they will sacrifice life and selves and everything, you will not win. I don't care how much money you put behind it. So that's what's happened with the people in Palestine. They've got to that point. We will sacrifice everything to get to end this. That's where they're at. You can't win. So for the United States to keep supporting the Zionist cause, it's not going to work, because the people are at that point where you can't threaten them with death. They're willingly dying to kill you. So the only solution to that, there's got to be somebody There's got to be people who know we got to start over with a new generation that are raised with peace in their hearts. So the group that's got the school, and I can't remember the name of the school, but I think it was on Viata Show. The people who have the school that I think it's, I can't remember the name of it. Maybe she type it in, whatever.
Type it in, Vienna, so we can see the name of the
But this is the solution to that to that war-torn, violent state. You have to have a whole new mindset created by a new generation of people that are not raised to think, these are your enemies, kill them. These are your enemies, kill them. Because it's a sickness that cannot be solved with this present mindset of people in this country trying to figure out how to profit from it, how to prop it up. And everything is about who's going to control the land, and people trying to use the Bible as a means to justify the genocide and all of that. It's not going to work because people have reached that point where they will strap bombs to themselves and kill who they see as the enemy in order for this oppression to end. So
they've been programmed to think that.
Yes. So here we are. You gotta have a new generation. What they're doing with the School of Abraham. That's it. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Vieta.
Schools of Abraham in that region. More
Google it. Google it. For those of you watching, Google it and share it.
Yes. That's the solution. Now, will Kamala, who's married to a Jewish person, support that? Well, maybe as a politician she can't, but maybe as a soul she can.
All right now.
We know that every one of us is answerable to the divine, to the one that sent us forth for this earth experience. And in our souls, we know that we have to do what's right. I believe we can appeal to a higher nature in her that will allow her to support what is spiritually correct.
Say that again. Appeal to her higher nature, not the nature of the politics that's happening that governs our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. Reach her at soul level.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. So we got to pray for her.
Yes.
Because she's in a precarious position right about now. Because I know they're knocking on doors telling her, you got to do this, this, and this. And that's something I wanted to address, the agenda, the policies, because the policies that she enforced were not the policies that she made. They were made by the government. So there's a movie, not a movie, a series called All Rise. ALL. Rise, All Rise.
All Rise.
In that series, I don't remember if it was Netflix or Hulu, I don't remember, but it shows the way in which judges, attorneys, politicians, yada, yada, but specifically this, it shows how judges are given an assignment before they get to the pulpit. Lord have mercy. Am I at church this morning? Before they get to the judge's seat, to the judge's chambers. Not the judge's chambers, the courtroom. Oh, is it that time already? Okay. Well, we're going to go over a little bit. We'll be in the after show officially. If you're on the switchboard, press 1, and you'll still be able to hear if you want to speak. Okay, just hold on. We'll take some calls. When the judge walks into her office in the morning to get ready to try her cases for the day, she is handed not an envelope, a folder of the offenders who show up in her court. And she is also in that packet. It has her directions on how to proceed, how to convict or not convict. And I was like, wow, they are telling this?
Wow.
The decision for that person, your family member, to go to jail has already been decided before the judge sets foot in the court. So it is those policies and procedures, that legislation that passed that you don't know about, that they're making up right now as we speak, as we focus on whether it's going to be a black woman or a white man with COVID. See, they keep us confused. That's why you need the School of Abraham, so you can operate at another level, at a galactical level, at a spiritual level, at a soul-to-soul level, as to all this garbage that's going on in the world. The judge has no really has no say so, because the decision has already been made to lock this person up before she even get to court. She's just following rules, and you think she the judge and she made that on her own? No, she didn't. That decision was made before she got there. I rest my case on that.
Wow. And
Isn't that powerful?
That is powerful. And I think we have to be less gullible about things. We look at a person as if they are the ones doing things, when, like you said, there are systems in place that are already controlling things before
hundreds of years
in their mouth. And it's just like when a person is elected to office, especially the president, there are so many things already in motion. We know that when President Obama got into office, Muammar Gaddafi was killed. That was a situation that was already in motion before he ever got elected.
50 years ago, before many of us were even born.
And you look at all of the senators and congressmen that have been in position for 30, 40 years almost. Those are the ones that have been running public policy.
Yes.
They've been running the government. They have been setting the tone for what America is doing at home and abroad. And so the president becomes a figurehead to basically just follow through what's already in motion. So how much can a person do as president when all of these factors are already in place before they ever get there? And when they get there, of course, they're briefed about what's going on. And how many things can they not even say openly? That's where that gray hair comes from. It's the stress of all of these things weighing on you that you can't even say, you can't even talk about. Yes. So when you
every last one of these gray hairs.
Yeah. So you can just imagine when someone has all of this knowledge that they must carry in their heart, plots to kill foreign leaders, and another line in The Godfather when Michael Corleone told his wife Kay that his father was no different than any other powerful man, like senators or senators or governors, and he says, well, no, that's ridiculous, because senators and governors, they don't have people killed. And he told her, who's being naive, Kay? Because basically he's saying, yes, they do. People who we elect to office, yeah, they do. They have people killed. I mean, that's reality. We've had how many assassinations? And the Trump thing, that's a whole nother show in itself. But
yeah,
the fact that people do this, they strategically plan who they can take out and how. This is who they are. And they might say, well, see, they're planning to kill us too. So again, that's the energy. That's that old energy on earth. Everybody's at war with each other. This is a chessboard and we got to kill the energy. Someone has to usher in a new era, a new higher consciousness, a new galactic consciousness where we are not seeing each other as enemies that have to go to war with each other and plot each other's assassination. Someone has to usher in that new thought. And it will come from a woman before it comes from a man.
Amen.
So I believe that, and those of us who are spiritually in tune, we know this is a season of transformation of the whole earth. And that old way of thinking, where if I don't like you, I'll kill you, that's over. And we have to begin a new way of thinking. We have to begin a new way of interacting with people who live in other parts of the world, because there are going to be parts of the world that get submerged underwater soon. The earth is going to look totally different in these next few decades and centuries. So we have to begin now systems of cooperation. And they got all these disaster movies where, when I was watching one of my sisters the other day, one of those disaster movies where the earth was going to be destroyed and they had to try to ship people to another planet to survive, and people were killing each other over little resources that they didn't have. We see these movies all the time, people becoming animalistic once their survival is threatened. Well, that's how the people who think in today's time, that's how they see the future, because that's what's inside of them. Well, you know, if there's not enough food, I'm gonna kill somebody before I let them take mine, or I'm gonna kill them to get theirs. That's how they think. Instead of thinking with higher consciousness, this is how we cooperate. This is how we share. This is how we distribute what we have so that everybody has enough. Everybody might not have more than enough, but everybody will have enough. This is how we maintain civilization, so that no one is suffering. You don't have to steal, because we make sure you can eat. We make sure you can have shelter. We make sure your child can stay safe and warm in the cold and cool in the heat and have food to eat, so you don't have to go out and steal from someone or kill them if they won't give you their stuff. We provide that. That's what a government's supposed to do, to make sure everybody's needs are taken care of, so that no one has to commit a crime against someone else in the means of survival. So someone has to be able to see that future and be willing to put it in motion, and discount all these disaster movies that say we're going to descend into barbarism if we don't have enough, and, you know, run out and buy toilet paper because we're afraid, you know, is going to run out, and all that kind of insanity that we saw happening during COVID. But someone has to say the future is going to be one of peace. And we're going to start creating it now by teaching our children a different way of interacting, by changing the way we distribute what is needed for everyone's survival. We're going to stop thinking in terms of how can we profit off of people's suffering and pain, and we're going to think, how can we benefit every human being? Every life on this planet is valuable. So that thought would come from the heart of a female who is a life giver, before it would come from the heart of a man who fears his survival if he doesn't try to dominate and control someone else. This is why we have to appeal to something greater in Kamala, so that she can transcend being a polished politician and be the heart and soul that she is.
Yes.
Because these are times when we are going to change the world, and what America does impact others. And America's been the underground supporter of aggression in so many places that the average citizen doesn't even know about. But she can help change that by the policies that she puts forth. And like you said, because a lot of these things are done before she even was set foot in the Oval Office, these decisions that have been made, it's going to be challenging for her to create something different, based on the fact that when the first day she steps in office, she's going to discover that there are some horrific things that this government is supporting, and she's not in a position to override it the first day she gets in office.
She probably already knows that.
Oh, she's got to know, because she's been in office. So she knows what's happening. She has to have enough of a group of supporters, an organized effort of women and men who are conscious, that will back her and believe that she is worthy of support, because she will have the courage to speak out, and sometimes go against what has been the traditional policy of those in power. So if we want her to be this revolutionary person, but then we don't vote, why would we expect her to risk everything that she built her career on, and we don't back her up? And people want, just like people want a Barack Obama, oh, you know, you should have your fist in the air and demand reparations. They want all of that. But that's not what that position is going to require. It requires somebody to be able to bring peace. One of the things that Nelson Mandela did when he established that Truth and Reconciliation Commission, I believe, after all those years of oppression from whites in South Africa, there was a lot of people who wanted vengeance, and they wanted to see people suffer in prison and all of those things for the war crimes and the violence. But more than anything, you have to bring some healing, some forgiveness. You have to decide to build on a foundation of peace, even after people have committed wrongs. And that doesn't mean you say it's okay that they wronged us, but how many years are you going to spend getting vengeance for the pain that people caused? And most of the time, the people who actually did it are dead and gone. So yes, we have some anger about slavery. We have some anger about the whole Jim Crow era and the lynchings and all of those horrific things that we had to survive, that we're still traumatized by. And this is one of the things we point out in our book, Slavery, the African American Psychic Trauma. We're still traumatized, but we have to choose to overcome the trauma. Just recanting it and recanting and recanting. Yeah, they enslaved us. Oh, they beat us. Oh, they hung us. Just talking about it and being angry about it does not help us move forward into creating a new environment where that cannot happen. That's what we have to do. And we can only do that when we see ourselves differently. There was a thing that Joe Biden said I thought was good when he, I think, when Donald Trump said something about these immigrants coming and taking the black jobs. Well, what is a black job? The idea is that all the black jobs are the low-paying jobs, the servant jobs, the minimum wage jobs. Those are black jobs.
Menial jobs.
Menial jobs. Now, if we see ourselves as that, then we say, yeah, they're taking our jobs. They're taking our black jobs. But President Biden said, well, a black job is vice president of the United States, because that's what Kamala Harris is. That's a black job. I mean, a black job is a Supreme Court justice, because that's what
a brain surgeon
right now. Yes,
scientist.
Yes, scientist,
politician.
That's right. All of these things are black jobs. So when we see ourselves different, not as oppressed people, but the very powerful people that we were long before the enslavement experience, and that's why we're in the book. Of course, people can go on my website at naimalatif.com.
Yeah, so they don't have to pay this $100-something. Yeah, let me pull up the right site, okay?
Yes.
I keep forgetting that. Yeah, let me go pull that up.
Yeah, but just so you know, they're doing that because the book was sold out for a long time. There's a groundswell of demand for it. So we're, again, the next printing is available. You can get it online. naimalatif.com. Go to the books page, and we're going to be doing a series of book tours to really talk about the healing that has to happen. We have been too long angry about slavery, demanding reparations, angry at every black elected official that doesn't support reparations. The real repair has to be inside of each of us. It has to be inside of us, inside our families. We have to change habits that create suffering. And we talk about even our family structure and the fact that we're still enacting that slave stud mentality where you got men that are impregnating women with no idea of fatherhood and being a husband and taking care of children. You can't do that and then be upset when your children that you didn't raise go astray and become victims of this business of the criminal justice system. They prey upon people who don't have emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're doing this and you think it's something that makes you a man, that's the programming from the slavery era. You got to undo that in yourself, and no one can undo that but you.
And that takes work, and many of us are not prepared to do the work. We don't want to do the work. We have become so lackadaisical and so lazy because we look at TV all day, we stay on our phones all day. It's like, oh, that's them. That don't bother me. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Right.
And it's that kind of attitude that keeps us stuck in a place we don't want to be longer than we want to be there.
Longer want to be there.
Always looking for a savior to pull us up out of it.
And nobody's going to save us, from us, for us, but us. I like that saying by Reverend Jesse Jackson. Yes. It makes a lot of sense. we are the ones. We are, what is it? We are the change we've been looking for.
Yes, Baba Kwame says that all the time.
Yes, and Kamala Harris is not going to be the savior of humanity, and neither is Donald Trump. Each person has to take responsibility for themselves, and each person has to look at themselves and see what am I contributing to my family? What am I contributing to my community? What am I contributing to the world by the activities that I'm engaged in? Am I staying sober, or am I getting drunk and then going out and fighting and causing a problem to somebody? And somebody got to call police on me because I can't heal from my childhood wounds, and so I use alcohol, which puts me in another frame of mind where I'm not responsible for my behavior. What am I doing? And it's not to beat yourself up, but to acknowledge that you are in pain and your pain is causing pain. So we have to heal from the inside out. And the things that we do that are harmful, we got to work on ourselves and heal ourselves and raise our self-esteem. When we don't feel good about ourselves, that's when we do harmful things to ourselves. You know, and one of the big issues in this campaign has been abortion.
Yes, women's right. I am so glad you touched on that. Roe versus Wade. Lord have mercy.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about that, the court case that first started that, the child that was in question, the one that she wanted to abort, actually ended up being born anyway, because, you know, the court system's so slow.
Right.
Even though the final decision was a woman's right to an abortion and all of that. But the point that I'm constantly making is that we, the women, have the responsibility of knowing our bodies. These bodies are made to perfection. They are like clockwork, and they give us specific signs as to when we are fertile and are able to conceive. Every female of every species on the planet knows her body. And when they mate, they do so when they know they are fertile and going to conceive. Now, it's not to say that sexual intimacy is not a wonderful opportunity to bond and you may not want to have a child at that time. Well, then know your body so that you can make decisions so that if your intention is not to conceive, that you don't. That is a simple thing to do, but you can't do that if you are succumbing to brainwashing that says your body is dirty, nasty, and sinful. And so therefore you shouldn't even look at it, shouldn't know how it works, shouldn't talk about it. That's stupidity. We are responsible for raising our consciousness to the level of understanding that this body is designed by the perfect designer. The creator gave us systematic ways of knowing when we are able to conceive. And if every other species on earth knows when they want to conceive and when they don't, and I don't know if they have sex when they're out of season, probably do, but at least they plan their childbearing to the best conditions. Birds will wait until their food supply is plentiful. You know, every other species, they know to conceive when it's the best time for their children to be born so they can feed them. If we're conceiving and we know we haven't finished high school, we don't have a job, we can't pay for a place to stay, and so we say, well, I conceived and I didn't mean to, so I need to have a right to an abortion. Why didn't you know how your body works? We're not even talking about whether or not
they don't teach it in school.
And so if they don't teach that in school, what responsibility is it for a mother of a child to learn this herself so she can teach it at home? Now, if you're too embarrassed to talk about sex, that's something inside of you gotta fix. Because and saying don't be hanging around them boys, don't be fast. That is not teaching you how your body works. You have to teach, which means you had to get rid of that ridiculous programming, that ridiculous religious programming about sin and wrong and all of that business. That does not give you the intelligence to teach your sons and daughters how their bodies work. Another thing, why are we circumcising our boys? Our Creator has given a covering for that very sensitive part of their body that leads to their arousal. Why are we removing it so they can be aroused before they're able to handle arousal? Why are we doing that? Well, the Bible says blah, blah, blah. Why are you following an ancient text? You don't even know why they did it in the beginning. And now it no longer serves us. So shouldn't we have the intelligence to stop doing that which no longer serves our best and highest good?
Deetta says, yes, we are the ones we have been waiting for. A man balanced in his female male energy can be a contributor as well, because there's a whole lot of men experiencing the female energy right now.
Yes.
And I hate to say it, but I love them. I just love them because they remind me of my femininity and how I need to practice that more, because I was raised by men. So, I put you in a headlock and men and throw you on the ground. And, I'm very aggressive in my speech, and I don't mean to be. That's just how I was raised. And it's hard to get out of a condition that you were born into. It's a challenge every single day. I'm still working on it. So you're thinking I'm fussing at you. I'm not. That's just the way I talk.
Aggression is a response to attack or perceived attack. And everybody has to have a balance. If you are too timid, that's imbalance, whether you're male or female. So if we as women have been conditioned to be so timid that we don't stand up for ourselves, we don't speak up for ourselves, we don't believe we have the right to be respected, then we're going to be treated as if we are unworthy of respect. And we will end up believing that about ourselves. And we manifest that. So here you have a woman who is now about to face a very verbally abusive man. Can she be as aggressive as she needs to be to say what she needs to say without feeling like people are going to be frightened because she's not being feminine enough?
I get that all the time.
Yes, because the position that she's in.
You must be gay because you rough.
And you're going to have people who say ridiculous things about her femininity, her being a woman, born a woman and not, transformed into a woman. You're going to have all of those accusations when she starts to speak with a powerful, assertive voice, because people are going to try to minimize her and shame her into being silent. And that's why we have to back her up so that she knows we got your back. Sister, get out there and take care of business. And don't swallow your words, because something needs to be said. And yeah, it might hurt some feelings, but it needs to be said. Yeah. So, we got to look at ourselves too as women, because what the first thing that people did when Hillary Clinton was running for office, we spent hours talking about her hairdo and what was she wearing, and did she look like she was getting fat? I mean, we did stupid things.
Same thing with Michelle Obama.
Yes, Michelle Obama.
Stuck on fashion.
As if that's
programming. Programming goes in all areas of life.
Yes,
programming, baby.
So we're programmed to tear down women and minimize women and belittle women. And that's why we end up getting oppressed, because we're not standing up for each other. When we stop doing that, then we'll find out how powerful we are. But as long as we go along with it, the denigration of women, making fun of women, finding fault with women, then women will be mistreated. So we are responsible for our oppression because we are not standing together.
We all need to get off the plantation.
We all need to get off the plantation.
We all own it.
That's why Harriet Tubman had to carry a loaded gun with her.
Yeah. Let you know I'm coming through and the people with me coming through. Yeah. You better recognize.
That's right. And you ain't coming back. You ain't gonna get scared and go back and tell on us. Look, you either be free or die.
Right. The choice is yours. What you want to do. So we're pretty much at that stance right now.
Yes.
People of all races were enslaved and slaveholders. Get over it and make choices and stay off the plantation, because we all on the plantation, whether we know it or not.
Absolutely. So we have to change how we think. If we want the world to truly be better, we have to stop complaining about what was and start building what is. Yeah, there's a 2025 plan. What kind of plan we got? Where's our 2030 plan? Where's our 2040 plan? Where's the plan? Don't worry about what they planning. What are we planning? How many schools of Abraham are we building so that we can not have that war in the Middle East and everywhere else in the world, all the other places in the world? What schools are we? What peace schools are we building? That's one thing I do have to say, and I love HWPL, Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, founded by Chairman Man-Hee Lee, who the war veteran of the Korean War, realizing we can't fix this situation until we start teaching peace. And so he established peace schools around the world. We're going to be launching one here on our website, the New Earth Homeschool Academy online very shortly, because the solution is to begin to teach our children a different way of thinking. We are not enemies. Yes, we've made some mistakes and mistreat each other. Everybody on the planet has been guilty of mistreating somebody somewhere at some point in history. We have now learned that that is not the way to treat your fellow beings. So we're going to teach peace so that the next generation will think differently. They will think cooperation. They will think respect. They will think love. And they will create systems that reflect that new thought. That's the solution. And it's being put in motion by people who are aware and conscious and taking responsibility to create rather than complain about what somebody else is trying to create.
Yes. Create something.
Responsibility.
Don't talk about the bad stuff that's going on. So what are you doing?
What are you doing? That's right.
So we're all in this together.
We all in this together. We may have come over on different ships, but we all in the same boat now.
Yes, we are. So the question is, are you gonna rock the boat, or you just gonna sit there? Which one are you gonna do?
That's right.
That's for our viewers and listeners who are watching. We appreciate you and we thank you, because we know you didn't tune in because you didn't have anything else to do this morning. You tuned in because you were looking for a solution to the madness.
Absolutely.
So we thank you for tuning in.
That's right.
So be sure and tune in tomorrow. Gathering of the Griots with our very own Asada, producer, founder of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. And what can we expect on Wednesday, Naima?
Well, Wednesday, we have some people who, again, have a solution. They are part of a process of helping people to learn conflict resolution. And we're looking at making this a part of not only our school system, but our court system. We'll have them on, and they will explain how this system works and how they've been also working with community organizations that stop the violence in the streets by helping those warring factions to come together and stop the violence. So we're going to bring you people with solutions on Wednesday.
And on Thursday,
well, we've got Veggie Live with Angela, and she's helping us get our bodies in order by doing the things that produce life instead of the things that slowly kill us. Just follow some basic wisdom, we can reverse all of the things we have done to our bodies that are causing
and still doing.
As
Iyanla Van Zant would say, until today.
Until today.
I am in Houston, Texas with my dear friend from childhood, and she's a vegan, has been for a while. And it is so refreshing to be in a household where there's no meat. And somebody trying to shove it down your throat. Because, when you go visit folks and they cooking, and it's like, okay, you want pork chop, you want steak, you want hot dog, you want hamburger. And it's like, I don't even miss it. And so now I see why you have all the energy that you have, because I've been getting very little sleep, but I still got lots of energy. I'm like, how can that be?
Eat live food instead of dead food.
Yes, you are not putting poison in your body this week. So thank you, Cheryl, for, I'm not saying not thank you for getting sick, but thank you for bringing me down here, because it just reinforces what I know to be true, what I need to do to maintain this body and my mobility. So, and you don't have to be, when you listen to Angela on Thursdays on the vegan brunch, just think, you don't have to be a vegan. You just have to have the mindset to be open and receptive to listen to this young woman who knows so much. I was like, whose grandmother is this child? She speaks with such wisdom. I'm like, really? You know that already, and I learned that till I was 50?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said that all day. Tune into the Vegan Brunch. You will be pleasantly delighted.
Veggie Brunch Live.
Veggie Brunch Live.
Yeah.
Veggie Brunch. Is it veggie or vegan?
Veggie Brunch. Yeah.
Veggie
He has a company, Veggie Brunch, and she's been doing some great recipes. So if you want to learn how to make some of these meals that taste good, tune on in to Veggie Brunch Live on Thursdays. Yes.
And on Friday, it is our sister from another mister, and that would be Viata.
Yes.
Who you've been seeing her name up here all day of Viata's Tiny House Village. She is on from 7 till 9 a.m. as usual, always. And we have a comment here, and it is from it'll come up in a second. Saturdays. Give us the Saturdays lineup. Oh, there she is. Elaine Smith. Good morning.
Thank you for watching. Yes, one of our longtime viewers and supporters. Yes, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Is that Delane?
I think
Delamy Smith. Thank you, sir.
Yes. And on Saturdays, let's see. Fourth Saturday. This is the Global Teen Talent.
This coming Saturday,
Yes, Global Teens, Tweens, and Tots.
Yes.
Talent contest. Yes.
So if you have teens between the age, I can't say teens anymore. If you got children under 19.
Yes, children under 19 that got talent. Yeah.
They got talent. They want to be in the contest. They can send an email to hlntvshow@gmail.com. They can send a 60-second video clip of them doing singing, dancing, art, photography, filming, whatever it is that they do. They can send that to hlntvshow@gmail.com. Or you can if you can't remember that, just go to the website, higherlearningnetwork.org. All the information is there. Just look for the contest. It's over on the right-hand side somewhere up there. Okay, and I probably should pull it up so that they can see it. Any closing thoughts, Naima?
I want people not to panic.
Yeah, don't panic.
Realize no matter who is elected in November, you still have the power to be kind to your neighbor. You still have the power to love your children. You still have the power to express your creativity and give something positive to the world. So
don't give up.
Succumb to the programming that makes you think that somebody out there is your enemy that you need to fear.
Because they're not your enemy, and you don't need to fear them.
Absolutely. We're all one. So those are my words, and
this is the blog. We'll have updates on it. Tumblr.com/Higher Learning TV Show. So I wanted to share that to you. Share that with you, duh. And then I'm pulling up the website that too.
Yes.
And that's higherlearning.org. There's lots of information.
Yes.
There you are, home. There it is.
There we go. Yeah. And we'll also keep you all updated on the on-air daily news. We did a on onairDailyNews.com. We did a story, of course, on the news about Kamala Harris, and also an editorial about the shooting, supposed shooting of the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, and really examining that. And so we want people to not be manipulated, and we also want to keep all of our elected officials safe, and we want to change the mindset that the answer to disagreement can be found at the end of a gun. It can never.
And speaking at the end of a gun, that shot that supposedly he was shot in the ear, use common sense. Don't believe everything you hear on TV. There is no way, as diligent as Secret Service is, somebody gonna show up on a roof and nick this man in the ear and not blow his head off. Come on now, use your brain. God gave you good. Use it. I said all that to say this.
There are certain people in this world. When you grow up watching TV, you become very easily programmed.
Yes, and we've all been watching TV. I've been watching TV since 1900 and.
When you say 19, that's pretty long.
Yeah, I don't even have to say the year. It was before the 70s. I was a teenager in the 70s, so I'll let you figure it out. But I just thought I'd share that. We've been programmed since birth, so it's kind of hard to get out of that. But you can find your way off. All you got to do is put this down for about an hour a day. You start at 5 minutes, increase it to 10 till you get to an hour or 2. And I promise you see a whole new world open up to you. Because every time you turn this on, baby, you're being programmed. And I'm just saying that's what's happening. But don't believe me. Don't believe nothing myself. Go to Operation Mockingbird. Google that, Operation Mockingbird, and you will see how the CIA and the FBI put together a memo to send it out all to the news stations. You think the news is controlled by corporate. Don't believe nothing I say. Do your homework. I said it. That's it. That's all.
Go to the free media, the mentally free media. Matter of fact, on their on air network, we have a radio TV guide. We suggest those.
Oh, go back.
Those. And of course, that's us there. And the radio TV guide gives you many shows that are designed to raise your consciousness and prepare you to think independently so that you are not programmed into remaining in a state of fear. Anytime somebody says something and causes you to be afraid, that means they're trying to control how you think and what you do.
So ask yourself the questions. Get quiet, as I'm about to do, as I take Cheryl out for our morning walk, and we're going to go sit as Mama AZ. Thank you, Mama AZ. We are going to go. I'm going to find me a big fork, spoon, or something, and we're going to dig up some dirt, and we're both going to put our feet in it.
Hey,
going to the park.
That's wonderful.
Because of Mama AZ, one of our longtime callers who has been calling in and telling us about her 45 hip operations and how it's a constant challenge every single day. But you go put your feet in that dirt and watch what happens.
Yes.
It's a whole new world. Things are going to open up. Answers are going to come to you. You're going to start listening to the birds. You're going to start talking to the birds. Zelda, you a little bit eccentric. I've been called a few things in my life, and whatever you call me, I don't care what you call me. Don't eat me for dinner. You got some greens there. I don't care.
Because the earth has healing energies.
The earth is healing. It's waiting on you. We live in a concrete jungle. We inside in this nice air conditioner. I need to be out there sweating, but not right now. Of course, soon.
Yeah.
But tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, I'll be outside. I won't be on here, but I'll be listening to the show.
Fantastic.
So thank you so very much for being a part of our day. Please share this video with someone, because somebody somewhere needs to hear it, needs to see it, needs to know the truth, because the media is only going to lie to you because that's what they do. So you stay on purpose and you stay empowered, and we will see you back here tomorrow with Gathering Up the Grill. So share this video, y'all. And I got a couple of announcements. You're going to love them. But in the meantime, in between time, here we go.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, 감사합니다. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
We'll go where that's for you. You got to join us for the Teen Talent Contest this weekend.
And you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brandon. Hi, I'm Akil. And you're watching the Betty Shabazz podcast training on the Higher Learning Network. Yeah.
Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing.
Welcome to Canaglobe, the first ever virtual dispensary offering a world-class collection of cannabis brands drop shipped to your front door. How does it work? Canaglobe took the same concept Amazon used to become the largest company in the world. But instead of shipping toilet paper, t-shirts, and tennis shoes, Canaglobe offers something a lot sexier. Yeah, cannabis. With over 100 premier products, from bakables like chocolate chip cookies, brownies, fried chicken batter, to cannabis mocktails like pina colada, margarita, old fashioned, to gummy rocks, sweet tarts, seltzers, king palms, pre-rolls, disposable vapes, carts, and did I mention THCA flower and magic mushrooms? Canaglobe is the first ever to drop ship flower to every state. We're also the first ever to offer magic mushrooms legally to every state. Well, except Louisiana. We're also the first ever where you get to be the brand. You heard it. Meet the requirements and get your own brand at the dispensary. Your brand, fully paid for by the company, and you earn on company-wide revenue. Your brand can be featured right alongside celebrities and mega influencers such as Dan Bilzerian with Ignite, Holly Barker with Happy Snacks, Scotty Huss with Biscotti, and so much more. Rolling Stone magazine said, if it seems like a new state is legalizing cannabis nearly every week, don't worry, you're not high. It is indeed happening at an unprecedented pace. CNBC calls it the new gold rush. Forbes says the market could grow by 700%. And the Wall Street Journal calls it a tremendous market. We're currently in 26 countries and growing. Industry icons are saying that Canaglobe is the most innovative, disruptive, and compelling business model this industry has ever seen. You're probably asking yourself, how is this legal? Here's how. All our products are compliant with the 2018 Farm Bill. So what's the opportunity for you? To become a virtual dispensary owner without all the hassles. No experience is required. No storefront, no inventory, no licensing, and best of all, no apologies. And is 100% legal. You can become a virtual dispensary owner. There are 3 ways you can take advantage of this opportunity. 1. You can become an affiliate by simply purchasing any product on AutoShip and get paid 20% on all your customers' purchases. 2. Or you can become a VDO for a one-time fee of $2.99 plus $25 per month. You receive a business sample kit. You can earn up to 85% in commissions, unlimited levels, and you get trained by a certified trainer. However, if you are serious about making money, we highly recommend you become a video pro so that you can get paid to train videos, whether on your team or not, and you will receive training from a certified trainer. What do? It's simple and fun. You acquire a handful of customers and teach others to do the same. Simply share your QR code or your link, and every time someone buys something, you get paid. You can also share sample products with your friends, or host a party and share all the favors. It doesn't take long before you can have all kinds of people doing the very same thing. Here's how it works. You can earn from $100 to $275 every time you personally enroll a qualified VDO, and $75 to $175 every time someone in your network does the same thing. You can also earn from 15 to 27% on all your personal customers and 3 to 12% to unlimited levels every time a customer makes a purchase anywhere in your network. While we do not make any income claims, this is an example of how the compensation plan structure works. An area VDO that enrolls 3 QVDOs and helps them each acquire a handful of customers and duplicate that 6 levels, the area VDO would approximately earn $100,000 plus $18,000 per month in residual income. But the comp plan doesn't stop at 6 levels. It pays to unlimited levels. While this is a financial opportunity, the real reward is we get to change the world by transforming lives with these sacred plants. We put smiles back on faces, happiness in hearts, laughter in lives, and health back in the home. Thank you for watching. Now, please get back with the person that shared this video with you and get started today.
And you can join us on the Zoom tonight at 7 p.m. Excuse me. You can join us on the Zoom. Why is it not coming back up there? Okay, well, here I am. There I am. Thank you so much for being a part of this day. And if you would like to help yourself, your family, your future, your church, your sorority, fraternity, your club, your children, get them out your pocket. Sign up with Canaglobe, and you'll be glad you did. This is what we do to raise funds for the youth, our youth programs, because it costs money to run programs, and as well as feed our unhoused neighbors. And we'll be at the DNC convention, and I'm looking for some politicians to talk to. We're both doing that. So, but anyway, I digress. I do that sometimes. But I want to thank you. You can call that number 312-383-9749. Text that number 312-383-9749. If you would like the information, I can text you back the link for tonight's meeting. It's every night at 7 p.m., Monday through Thursday. It's not on Fridays. So I just wanted to share that with you. There is a lot going on in Chicago, and there will always be something going on in Chicago, and I just wanted to let you know about that. So don't worry, be happy. Grand Rising, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks, the stressologist. Any stress in your life? Well, most of us do. Unfortunately, we don't know what to do with that stress, especially as it relates to worry. I was once a worried about everything, and I finally figured it out with some training. Yeah, I've been certified with the American Society of Training and Development, National Speakers Association, and a host of others. But none of those organizations helped me stop worrying. They just gave me validation for the public to see what credentials I have. So the credentials I have now are from life experience, and I've learned how not to worry. And you can learn how not to worry too, because it is indoctrinated in us to worry. We don't have the answers, so we think the worst is going to happen. Well, I got a solution to that, and that is the Worry Workshop. So I'm going to pull that up for you on my blog. Why do you worry when you don't have to? Go to my blog, zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com, and you can sign up right there and find out how you. And remember, sharing is caring. If you care about yourself and your loved ones, Help them see their way out of a mess. Give them the gift. It makes a great birthday gift. It makes a great holiday gift. So instead of running to the store getting something that they really might not need, give them a worry-free life. Give them the gift of a worry-free. We love you on Windy City Live. Yes, we do. Tell us, how did all this happen? How did this come about?
Well, I play me. I play Val Warner in Chirac, which is really cool. So when people see this movie, they are literally seeing Val, and I am a reporter in the movie.
We talk about the violence, but what can we do personally?
I think we got to be engaged, and I think engaged in a number of things. In our block, in our home, in our neighborhood, we got to be engaged. We got to fight the issues. We got to fight a government that is abandoned, whole communities on the south and the west side. We got to fight a governor who's cut out every youth employment program, who's cut out violence prevention programs, who's abandoned our communities and the poor and the vulnerable. And I think we got to reach out to our brothers on the street and love them and respect them and help them, not just demonize them.
I'll just say like this. First of all, give you the history of coming to Chicago and telling my jokes as a young cat. I'm 37 now. I started about almost 15 years ago. Elroy taking me under his wing, let me do some jokes here and there for the radio stations and all that kind of stuff.
I learned that no matter what you do and how much of a genuine heart you have, and if you're coming from a good place, people are going to criticize if they don't agree with what you're doing.
Yo, what's up? It's your man Tony Schofield from 106.3 Chicago's R&B, and you are watching Men on Higher Learning. Now, I used to hang around with some men that was into some higher learning. It just wasn't that kind of higher learning, but I got myself together now, okay?
What is it that you do in your quiet time, in your meditation time, that allows you to bring us the films that you do?
I sit courtside in Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena.
And you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your hand right. Latifah, and you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your hand right.
Attention all talented teens ages 13 to 19. Are you ready to show the world what you've got? We're excited to announce the latest global virtual teen talent contest, where you win cash prizes and scholarships by performing your unique talent. Here's how to participate. 1. Record a 1-minute video of yourself performing your talent. 2. Upload the video, link in description or comments. 3. Submit your video by the deadline. We're looking for a wide range of talents, from singing and dancing to magic tricks and comedy skits. So whether you're a musician, an actor, or a chef, we want to see your unique talent. The top talents will be selected by a panel of judges and will be announced shortly after. So don't wait, start filming and good luck.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a wonderful feeling. There's a handsome man coming my way. Oh, there is a handsome man coming my way. Hi there. What's your name?
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Tony. And what I want you to do for me is, if you have Xfinity TV, tune in to the Higher Learning Network Tuesdays at 6 p.m., Wednesdays at 1 p.m., Xfinity TV channel 19. Peace out.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you. But we got to go. I got to go take care of Cheryl. Okay? Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for caring. Make it a great day. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did I do that right?